Presenting Decklist Mathmech. Decklist is an archetype that debuted in the Yu-Gi-Oh's variant anime while being released in the TCG in Ignition Assault and Eternity Code, but not seeing competitive success until support in Lightning Overdrive in the form of 4 new support cards. 2 being irrelevant and not being played in competitive lists, but 2 of the support cards allow the deck to see competitive success. These are AI Meet You, a powerful archetypal search spell, and Dark Infant Decklist, the famous Link one that searches the field spell. Speaking of the field spell, Decklist Island is the core card of the strategy, and allows you to summon upwards of 5 Decklist monsters from your hand. For a while, post Lightning Overdrive, Decklist was topping, but it was eventually power crept into the rogue tier. With the release of Power of the Elements came Mathmech Circular, a powerful generic Cyberse extender and starter. This allowed the deck to be more consistent and have a powerful game plan, accomplished by any one of our 15 one-card combo starters. We're playing one Hyari Decklist, which if you control a Decklist monster, you can special summon itself from the hand, and you can tribute one other Cyberse monster to add a Kachiri or Denmari from your deck to the hand. We're playing one Doshin, who has the same effect as Hyari. If you control an Decklist monster, you can special summon itself. And we're playing 3 Achichi. This is one of our one-card combo starters, which ends on a 6000 attack rival Cyberse, a Wing Pegasus Engrave, and a Denmari Engrave. On normal or special, it adds any one level 4 or lower Decklist monster from your deck to the hand, and as a peculiar graveyard effect, where at the start of the damage step, if your Cyberse monster is attacked into, you can banish this card from the graveyard. Then you can destroy the monster that they targeted for an attack, which is useful in getting rid of your weak monsters and only giving them the option to attack into the arrival. We're playing one Baruru, which on normal or special foolishes an Decklist monster. And then if it's sent to the graveyard as material for the Synchro Summon of a Cyberse monster, e.g. Wind Pegasus, you can target the other monster used for the Synchro Summon and special summon itself and special summons the other monster without negating its effect. It's very important for, as you see in the combo alliance, playing one Mathmech Sigma, which if you control no monster in your extra monster zone, special summons itself from the hand or grave. Playing one addition as an extender, and you could also use it for a Mathmech line for Super Factorial, which can make any monster on the field gain 1000 to special summon itself. We're playing 3 Pakari, which is another one of our one-card combo starters, which has the same end board as a Chi-Chi, except at Chi-Chi, you're gonna take 2300 damage at the end of turn, where with Pakari you won't, because of some restrictions and stuff. Because on normal and special summon, it adds any one AI spell trap. AI is an archetype that works very well with Decklisters. And then you can target another Decklist monster you control, its level becomes 4 until the end of the turn. We're playing 2 Doyon, who on normal special summon adds back a Decklist monster from your graveyard, and then when it's link summoned for a Cyberse monster, you can target a AI spell and trap, add it back. It's very useful for gaining follow-up. We're playing 3 Mathmech Circular, another one-card 6000 attack rival Cyberse, but in this case, it will only end on Wind Pegasus Engrave and no Denmari Engrave. I imagine people already know what this card does. They probably already know what all the Mathmech cards does. It's been very good in the recent events and ladder. Denmari, it's usually you're gonna want it to be in the graveyard, but in some strange cases, when your Decklist monster, when the arrival is getting attacked over, you might want it in your hand instead. Because when an attack is declared involving your Decklist monster, you can special summon itself to negate the attack, and then while you control a Link monster, you can quick effect banish this card from your field or graveyard. Very important that you can banish from your field as well. And then target a face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effect. It's very important because they have a quick play revival spell, which means if they decree your Denmari during your turn, or their turn, or called by the grave during their turn to get rid of the effectively trade for the negation effect, you can special summon it back and still get the negation effect. We're playing one Gachiri as an extender, who you can target a Cybers monster you control and negate its effects and special summon its hand. It has a protection effect, where the first time each Cybers monster you control would be destroyed by card effect is not. It's very important because it protects each one once, not all of them at once. It's very good. It is once per turn, well, once per monster, I guess. So it doesn't protect them infinitely. And then when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a face-up monster you control and make it unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of your opponent's turn. It's very good if you have to getting hand trapped like 3 times and you have to end on a DK Heat Soul protected by Gachiri or something. It's still a pretty good board. Playing 1 Regeki, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Terraforming, 3 Senate Mining, also a 1-card combo starter. 1 Mathmech Equation for the Mathmech engine, 1 Lightning Storm, 3 AI Michi, also a 1-card full combo starter, which gets you the same line as Bakari and Chichi. Playing 2 of one of the Reborns, which we're playing 2 different ones because they are both hard once per turns. And then I guess this is maybe usable against Runic, but if it's banished, it can make your Agnista monsters with 2,300 or more attack unable to be destroyed by battle. And then also has the effect if an Agnista monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, with 2,300 or more attack would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish itself from the graveyard instead, which pairs up nicely with the battle protection effect, but you're not usually leaving one of your Dark Templars or Wing Pegasus on field, so unless you're going first, going second, and they hand trap you, and they have like a pop or something for one of your big Agnista monsters, then it's useful. We're playing 3 of the field spell. It's very essential for this deck. Without this card, this deck would not exist at any level. It is both a AI spell, which is important for being able to be searched by Bakari, but it's also an Agnista. It's not at Agnista, which means it's not searchable with things that would search at Agnistas, even though there's nothing that would that searches an at Agnista card, only things that search at Agnista monsters. Yeah, so if you control no monsters in your main monster zones, you can special summon a level 4 lower Agnista monster from your hand. But for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters with the same original attribute by the effect of Agnista Island. And also you cannot special summon monsters except Cybers monsters, even if this card leaves the field. So it's so if you activate this card, summon a Chi-Chi from hand using the field effect, you cannot summon a Chi-Chi from the hand using the same effect again, but you can summon a light one from hand. It's also important that you can normal one a Chi-Chi, link it off, add it back with Doyon, and then use the Bakara at the island to summon it. Also, is a very good grave effect. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 1 Agnista monster from your graveyard and set this card. You can only use this effect of Agnista Island once per turn. So even if they pop it, you can get it back, but if they pop it again, you'll have to search a new one, or cry. The deck can do plays without it, especially with the new Mathmech engine. We're playing 1 Called by the Grave, 2 of the Idol Reborn AI, so you can still search it with Tiare, which reborns an Agnista monster and locks you into Cyberses, and then when an attack is declared involving 2 monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard and 1 card from your hand, then target one of your AI spells/traps that is banished or in your graveyard, except Idol Reborn, add that card to the hand. Very convoluted effect at the end, but it does come up a bit, especially with adding back the other spell, or adding back the field spell, or AI Michu, and then Forbidden Droplet, Infinite Permanence, and Rivalry. Rivalry is very good in this deck, because, you know, we're playing every every card is a Cyberse. And it's also very good because we can search it with Albertian in a certain line. And then for the extra deck, we're playing one Wigan Pegasus, which has seen play over the years, but it's very good in this deck because we can, number one, it's an Agnister monster. But also we can use its first effect where during the main phase you can destroy spells and trap your opponent goes up to the number of Agnister monsters and usually have like a bunch of them to it. So it's usually like if you do it during the end of your combo, it's like a pop 5. Or if you do it during midway of your combo, you can like pop 3. It's really good. And if another card you control is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, while this card is in your field or in your graveyard, so same, you can revive it back and still use it to protection effects. You can banish this card from your then target one card your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck, which is very good for disrupting your opponent during their turn while they try and deal with your stuff. And then we're playing one Albertian to search Circular, or in rare cases we can search a spell or trap. We use 4. Playing 3 Dark Infant. It's very good Link 1 that synergizes with Dark Templar and also goes plus with Island. Because on Special Summon it adds on Link Summon it adds Island. And then when a Cyberse monster with 2,300 its original attack activates its effect, you can move itself to an adjacent monster mode, to a monster zone it points to, then change its attribute so it can change to Vines because of the arrival. And then Wicked, which can can't be destroyed by battle card effect, which is pretty good in some of the cases. And then if this card is special summoned to a zone, if a monster is special summoned to a zone it points to, it can banish a Cyberse monster from your graveyard and add a Cyberse tuner, which is very important because Baru is a tuner, and also Sigma in some cases you want to maybe search is a tuner. And we're playing Update Jammer for Update Jammer and Access Code lines, playing 2 Splash Mage, 1 Transcode, 1 Dark Templar, which if a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, even during this damage step, which is important because it has a damage step effect, you can special summon as many level 4 or lower Agnister monsters from your grave as possible to the zone as this card points to, but negate their effects. And then when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it can special summon a Cyberse monster from your graveyard. Very important if you can, because sometimes it can special back in late games you can special back a transcode if it got disrupted and you never made the Dark Templar. And then you can and then the transcode can summon back a Splash Mage, and then the Splash Mage can summon back another guy, which is like, what, 6 materials of destroying one guy? Playing Heat Soul, we're playing Firewall, playing Access Code, and we're playing The Arrival, the hardest boss twat in the entirety of the game. Apart from, like, Floodgates, because those things are very good. You can only control one of them, and the original attack of this card becomes 1,000, the number of Link materials used. So if you're using 5 monsters for it, okay, it has 5,000 attack, you use 6, which is the ideal case, you get 6,000 attack. It's unaffected by other card effects, and then once per turn, you can target one other monster on the field, destroy it, and if you do special summon a token to a zone this card points to, that's a Cyberse Dark level 1, 0 attack and 0 defense. It's very good. So some possibilities and text for this deck is, I think this one's a very funny one, which can special summon from your hand if there's at least 8 or more Link monsters with different names in the field and or graveyard. And then if this special summon shuffle all other monsters that are banished on the field and in the graveyard into the decks. Neither player can activate cards in response to cards activation. It's not as good as it sounds because it doesn't shuffle their hand. If it shuffled their hand, we probably would play it more because the Arrival wouldn't get shuffled away. But if you do it, you're losing your Denmari and your Wing Pegasus engrave. So it's not that good. Let me just count for a second. You can link into that. I do believe you do go through 8 Link monsters with the normal line, because you link some of that. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, no, you won't. You'd have to pitch an extra. No, you make 2 of this. So you do make exactly 8 Link monsters. but you have to go for a suboptimal play where you don't banish the Dark Infant for Cybus Wicked, if you wanted to do that, which is suboptimal. If for the Mathmech engine for Super Factorial, you'd play one Nabla, one Diameter, and one Laplacian, and one Super Factorial. I imagine in the case you could swap out a Dark Infant for a Laplacian, and then you could just add any of the I need that back. And then you can just take out any of the like Called by Graves or like random shit like Rugeki or Monster Reborn to fit these. The Nabla is only there because you have to summon it back with Albertian, and then Albertian tribute the Circular to summon a Diameter to get 3 materials. Differences in engines in Mathmech and Ignista is whether they're running a larger generic Cyburst lineup or they're running more Mathmech cards. There also is the possibility that they're running pure. There are also some Mathmech and Ignista variants which opt to summon Firewall Dark Fluid Dragon with multiple counters instead of summoning the Arrival, or as a second plan in case the Arrival is defeated. These are our bread and butter combos, featuring Achichi Ignista or Picari Ignista, as they are interchangeable as they both search each other. This is what one AI Michu accomplishes. This is what one Mathmech Circular accomplished. This combo showcases how the deck can go into multiple towers, not just the arrival, though you will need to require some more garnets like the ritual monster and the ritual spell. You won't get as much follow-up. You'll need things like Cyber Switch in the extract and etc. This line, achievable by Achichi or Bakari, ends on a 5000 attack Arrival Cyberverse and Mathmech Superfactorial. Now let's have a look at the doors.